Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Back to School Resources with ONIE. This is kind of the starter, kicking off a little bit of our OU Wellbeing Awareness Month this September. So really appreciate ONIE Project joining us to do a nice little cooking demo and share some additional information about them and resources and what have you. So really appreciate you all joining us today and for them sharing their great knowledge with us. And of course, doing it right before lunch. So I'm already hungry. This is probably going to make me even more so. So really looking forward to this. Thank you guys for joining, and I'll let you take it away.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Lindsay. I appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to this, and I think it'll be fun. So today we're going to talk a little bit about, who ONIE is, who we are, what we do. We're also going to talk about back to school resources, meaning I was going to talk a little bit about and show you some of the different materials and things that ONIE has to offer, not only for individuals, but also that we can offer to people that are working in the community that might be helpful for nutrition education resources. We have some physical activity and some of the other projects that we do that might be of interest to people on campus as they serve the community. And then probably the best thing, as like you said, we're going to be doing a cooking demonstration. And so this is a recipe that we've actually had around for a while, but we revamped it a little bit. And it's a sneak peek because it's going to be printed in our 2025 nutrition calendar, which is currently in print, and it will be ready later this fall for people to distribute out to the community. And so it's called Cheesy Breakfast Muffins. It's very easy, it's very fast, and you can put in whatever veggies you have. So it's a fun, easy recipe way to kind of, get breakfast on the go. You can make it ahead of time, super simple, and it's kid approved. People like it. We've had other people test it before. This is actually a recipe we've used a lot lately in our different demonstrations out in the community. We've gotten a great response. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. That's a little bit of an overview. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so just to tell you a little bit about ONIE. So ONIE stands for Oklahoma Nutrition, Information, and Education Project. And so we are based out of the Hudson College of Public Health. So we are here on campus on 13th and Phillips. And we have a variety of different things that we do. So I believe we hold about 7 or 8 grants and contracts at this point. So we do a variety of different things, but we are serving Oklahomans. So we are a statewide project, meaning that we serve all 77 counties in some capacity. So we do a lot of different things. We do nutrition education. We work with farmers markets. We work with local foods and food systems. Like I mentioned, we do physical activity. And what we're really going to talk a lot about today is our USDA SNAP Ed grant, and that is our nutrition education. We really create a lot of our print materials, so things like a nutrition calendar, recipe cards, and some other materials that are easy, tangible items that we provide for free as long as you're serving our priority population. So ONIE promotes a healthy living for Oklahomans through community nutrition, resources development, and health campaigns. So everything that we're doing, our tagline is we're trying to make healthy easy, and everything that we are creating is based on formative research. So even though, our outward facing all of the things that we create look like fun recipes and calendars and farmers markets and promoting vegetables, all of that we're doing is based on formative research. So we have this background in the scientific base as well. And we're also working through to use social marketing. So using traditional marketing techniques to promote healthy behaviors. So again, trying to reduce those barriers and making the healthy option the easy option. So that's a little bit about what we do. I could go on all day, but we won't. All right, so let's go ahead and get cooking. One more slide really quick. Perfect. Okay, so here's our recipe. It's called Cheesy Breakfast Muffins. In total, it takes about 45 minutes. The prep time is really easy. What takes the most time is actually the baking part of it. So as you'll see today, we'll go through all the ingredients. Super simple, very easy. And it's 12 servings, which means you get 2 muffins per person. So it's a really nice and hearty recipe. And like I said, let me go back there. And like I said, it's very, very simple. And so that's it. Pretty easy cleanup. So, okay, so let's kind of go through everything. There's no prep steps on there. You can just leave that there.
I'm gotta switch your view.
Okay, got it.
Share.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Can't see you.
Got it. Okay, can you see now? Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, you're going to need a big glass bowl, big mixing bowl. I cannot stress this enough. You do not want to mix in a small bowl. It gets messy really, really fast. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to add, so I want to talk a little bit about this. So this is all-purpose baking mix. So it's a little bit like a Bisquick or a pancake mix, waffle mix, something like that. You can find it at any store. It can be store brand. It can be, there are some higher protein options out there as well, but if you want to add higher fiber and protein, you can, but just a super simple baking mix. And what this does is it kind of just saves on ingredients a little bit. So you're not having to add flour and leavening and all those kinds of things. Just an easy baking mix. So we're going to put that in there. Next up, we have shredded cheddar cheese. So you can use any cheese you want, but I really like using shredded cheddar, especially sharp cheddar, because it kind of gives it that bite and it gives it a little extra flavor. So mix that in there. We have this on our website, so you'll be able to make this yourself at home if you'd like. We also have some shredded Parmesan. So again, you can use one cheese if you want, but again, the different cheeses add a little bit of different flavor, a little saltiness, a little bit of a bite. So it just gives those muffins a little extra flavor. Okay, next up we have minced mushrooms, and I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but they're cut up really, really fine. You can make them bigger if you want. We really like to dice things fine at ONIE, and there's a variety of reasons, but a lot of the time when we're making recipes, we're making them for anybody, but we specifically are looking to help families and busy families make easy recipes. So a lot of times our busy families have little ones that want to maybe make a super healthy recipe for them, but trying to serve your 2-year-old a giant thing of mushrooms may or may not work out very well. So we really like to dice them fine, and it's something we call sneaky veggies. It's actually a tab that we'll be adding on our website pretty soon, and it will be coming out in our 2025 calendar. We're going to be doing a recipe booklet, and it's all going to be recipes geared towards not even necessarily hiding vegetables. Maybe in the beginning you want to hide them, but slowly introducing them in a way that's palatable, it's easy, and it's a little bit more acceptable. So you're not, scaring your children with veggies. So that is mushrooms. You also, if you don't like mushrooms at your house, if your family's not big into mushrooms, not a big deal. You don't have to use them. You can really use any veggies. Honestly, one of our big go-tos in our house when we make these, and we make them probably about once a week or so, or at least we have lately, we love to chop up broccoli really fine. Cauliflower is another really good one because it is white, so it's easily hideable depending on how anti your kids are. So this one is green bell pepper. You can put any kind of bell pepper, or again, if you don't like peppers, you don't have to do that. We just put green in there. Green's a really affordable pepper. It's usually the cheapest option, but any of the other colors work great too. So there is green. Okay. We also have a little bit of cilantro. Cilantro just gives it that little extra flavor. So easy, healthy, fresh herbs. They're usually really, really affordable. You can find them at any grocery store. Parsley is another really good one that works for the muffins. You can also use dried if you don't have fresh on hand, but usually fresh just gives it that little extra flavor. But I've made it many times without it when we didn't have it on hand. Not a big deal. We also have garlic powder. One of the things that we like to do at ONIE, we really like to make sure that we are using common, simple ingredients that can be found anywhere. We try very hard not to use specialty ingredients or something that you have to go to several grocery stores to find, because again, busy families don't have time to go to all the grocery stores. So garlic powder, super simple, very easy to find. Add that in there. I've actually made a spicy version of this mushrooms or a muffin. Not something we fed our toddler, but we did add a little bit of chipotle powder, and it kind of gives it a little bit of a kick. So if you like spicy, it's a good option. And then black pepper, super simple. Dump that in there. Okay, so let's get to mixing. So now we have just about everything in there. So we're going to mix it up. And you want to mix it really, really well, because if not, you're going to get a giant pocket of baking mix and then veggies, and the muffins just don't stick very well. So you want to kind of mix them up. So I'll move it a little bit closer so you guys can see. And while we're cooking, if you guys have any questions, please feel free. You can turn on your mic and you can ask questions. I'm happy to answer those. But I'm just going to kind of keep mixing. Okay. All right, looks like we are almost mixed up. Got to get that bottom. All right, okay, so now I'll show you what that looks like. You can kind of see there, it's nice and mixed up, and how you can tell that it's ready to go is the veggies, the cheese, the mushrooms, all of that together. It almost looks like it's coated in the baking mix. That's how you know you're ready to go. Okay, so our last ingredients that we have is we have diced ham. So this is just something simple. It comes diced at the grocery store. You don't have to, if you don't eat meat at your house, not a big deal. Don't have to add this. This is just another way to add a little extra flavor and a little bit of extra protein to the dish. One of the things about ONIE recipes, I like to call them really good base recipes, meaning we don't add things like salt or some of those extra things. We typically try and add flavor through the different ingredients. So for this recipe, we're using the cheese and the ham to add some extra flavor without added sodium. Sorry, getting my words mixed up. Okay, next up we have 1% milk. So we have low-fat milk. You can use any milk that you have on hand, or if you want to use a dairy alternative, you can also use that. But we like to use 1% milk because it has all the vitamins and nutrients, and it also has the same amount of protein without the added fat of whole milk or 2%. So any option that you want to make, especially if you're making it for younger children, you can use whole milk. That's totally fine. We just happen to be calling for 1%, but we encourage people to use what works best for their family. All right, last but certainly not least is Greek yogurt. So this is non-fat Greek yogurt. You can use full fat, but we do like to use non-fat here at ONIE because it does reduce the saturated fat. The thing that I really like about plain Greek yogurt is it adds protein. It also adds a little bit of a tang, but you really typically, when you're putting it in baking items, you can't taste, if you're not really a big yogurt person, I know a lot of times people kind of shy away from yogurt. I totally understand, but if you're mixing it in something, you usually don't get as much of the flavor, but you also get added protein. So that's what makes this muffin really high in protein and vitamins and minerals. It makes it a really good breakfast because you can have two of these muffins and you're going to feel full for a while. So I don't know about you all if you're big into breakfast. I happen to love breakfast. What I don't love about breakfast is if I eat something that's nice and sugary and maybe tastes really good, I'm probably hungry in an hour, and that's really hard when you're at school, you're at work. That can be really frustrating. So I want to make sure that whenever I'm eating something, that I'm actually eating something that's going to keep me full until around lunch or maybe that mid-morning snack. So that's kind of why we use the ingredients that we do. All right, so let's mix it up now that we have all of our liquid in there. And this is the part, it may take a little bit. So you want to make sure and really get it all mixed up because next we're going to put it in the baking tin. And I didn't tell you guys, but we have a little TV magic for you, and we actually have some muffins that are already ready to go. So you'll actually get to see the final product as well. Other veggies that are really good in this, I like to use, I'm actually allergic to onions, so I don't put onions in mine, but I think that would be a really good option, onions or green onions. I typically use shallots when I cook. And if you're not familiar with shallots are a little bit of a cross between an onion and garlic. So it has a little bit of a garlic and a pungent onion flavor. So those are really good when cooking. You can find them at most grocery stores. They're usually pretty affordable. What else can I tell you about this? Another thing that I like about this recipe is that it can be freezer friendly, meaning that a lot of times, I don't know about you guys or what your house is like in the morning. I'm not typically a morning person. And so because of that, mornings can be a little bit hectic, especially when everybody's trying to get out the door on time. So the nice thing about these is you can make them ahead of time, meaning you can either make the batter and then put it in the fridge overnight, or you can actually freeze them. So you can make the muffins and freeze them ahead of time. So that way, all you have to do is pop a few of them out and stick them in the microwave if you want to. So both are options. All right, we're almost done mixing. Did I see was there a question in the chat?
I thank you. It was timed perfectly that the question was any recommendations on other veggies that would be good and freeze well. I bet these muffins freeze pretty well. And then you happen to address freezing them. So that was perfect.
All right. They really do. So that's another thing that I want to say about our recipes. Anything that we're making on camera or in our print materials, we have actually made them ourselves. So, all of the pictures, all of the recipes, everything we do is done in-house when it comes to the development of that, which is really nice because then we can go out to the community. Nothing is worse than getting a recipe that doesn't actually work. I don't know about you guys if you've ever tried to make something you saw on Pinterest or maybe on a blog. I've had some pretty good fails in my life. So it can be really frustrating, especially when you're on a limited budget, limited time. So we want to make sure that we're actually putting a good product out there. So yes, we have actually tested it. I have actually frozen the muffins and then reheated them themselves before, and they work beautifully. So that's really good. Okay, so now we have a muffin tin. You can actually make this. We've made them before actually in a baking dish. So it almost makes them bars and you can score them as well. I know it kind of depends again on your family size and what your goals are, what you're trying to do, but you can bake them in a variety of ways. So that way it's suitable for your family. Our spray mix isn't doing so hot. I think it's already on weekend vacation. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to spoon each of these into the muffin tin, and then we're going to bake them. So super simple. You kind of just spoon them out there. A lot of times it gets really sticky, and that's okay. We actually like when it gets a little bit sticky because that's how it's going to rise. Okay. What I did there is I'm just putting a little bit of grease or a little bit of cooking spray on the spoon so that way I can actually do this. I realize a lot of times at home you might use your finger. That's also totally fine. But I plan on sharing these muffins with my coworkers, and I don't know if they want my fingers in their muffins. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Okay, just kind of evenly spread them out. These muffins will rise, but they're not going to rise so much that you can't fill them pretty full. You guys typically fill them about all the way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So these muffins, I know a lot of times when you make more of like a sweet muffin or something that's going to rise, you would actually put it about halfway to 3/4 full. These we actually pack pretty full. So I just want to let you guys know that. So if you make them at home, you won't think, wow, I have so much batter. How am I going to actually get them all in one? We've also made these before in tiny little muffin tins, so like mini muffin tins, and it works really good, especially for little hands. Again, you can make the big muffins totally fine, but the little muffin tins make it really easy when you have little ones, or maybe if you are on the go to work and you want to eat them at work and maybe don't want a full muffin to spill all over your car. So, okay, we are almost done. And once we get these here, then I'll show you the finished ones, and they're really pretty. And I wish you could smell what I smell in the kitchen because it smells really good in here. It's got a little bit of like a meat and garlic, like kind of like a breakfast muffin. It's really what it smells like. Exactly what we're making. Okay, so we're almost done. Again, kind of just making sure that they're all full. We want to make sure and use all of that. Okay, and I'll do a quick plug while we are finishing these up. We're actually going to be at the fair next week. So the Oklahoma State Fair, ONIE is going to get to cook on Friday from 10 to noon. So I know that a lot of you are probably at work and school, but if you happen to be at the fair on September 13th, we're also cooking the week after, the 19th, and that is going to be what time? 4 to 6. So that's the next Thursday from 4 to 6. So if you again happen to be at the fair, we'll have some additional recipes. So we really like going out into the community, so we like to tell everybody else. Okay, so now if you want to look at this, you guys can kind of see this is what they look like. Very easy. Again, they do look a little bit full, but they won't rise too much. And then check this out.
And Stephanie, you mentioned that you could just use a full pan. Like, would you use like a 9x13, or what size would you suggest to use your pan?
So there's two ways that I would go about it. So yeah, the ones that we have made before for an event, I would use it in a 9x13, like a more of like a rectangle one. You could put it in like an 8x8 or a 9x9 square. Just know that because it is a little bit thicker, you're going to need to cook it a little bit longer. So for this recipe, I believe, let's say you bake 25 to 30 minutes in a muffin tin. It's probably going to increase the baking time if you put it in like a 9x9 square dish. You're probably going to be looking at, we haven't tried it in a square, but my guess would be somewhere between 35-ish minutes and maybe 40. I'd just keep an eye on it. But yeah, I really like that one too because it makes it for even easier cleanup. Here's the finished product. You guys can kind of see that. They smell really good. The thing I like about these, again, is they're super easy and portable. So as you guys saw, I did not use muffin liners. You don't have to. You can if you want. That makes it even easier to transport. But I will tell you just from personal experience, these muffins do better when you just grease the muffin tin because these tend to stick to the paper a little bit. And that's just because of what's in them. And we have the fact that we have non-fat yogurt, non-fat milk. There's not a lot of fat in there, so it makes it a little bit harder, sticks to the paper. So, but you can do it that way as well. So there you go, finished product. And again, that makes 12. So there you go. Okay, any other questions so far, Lindsay? Before we get to materials?
Not yet. I think it looks good and I'm getting hungry.
Okay. We can run some muffins over to you in a minute into your office, Lindsay. We can definitely do that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and share screen again. We'll show you a little bit about our materials. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about ONIE resources and some of the things that we do. Okay, so the first and foremost, one of the things that we call our cornerstone of our materials a lot of the time, so we produce a nutrition education calendar. And to give you a little bit of context, so we are collectively, we are ONIE Project. So we have several different brands that are under the umbrella of ONIE. And one of the brands that we have is called Choose Homemade. So anytime you see Choose Homemade, that's actually anything that's nutrition education and specifically typically cooking things. So all of our recipe materials, all of our calendar, we actually have a website that is choosehomemade.org that houses, I believe it's about 350 recipes. It might be more than that at this point. But that's everything that is cooking or branded with food. That is our Choose Homemade brand. So, okay. So Choose Homemade calendar, this is a year-long project for us. So we just turned in our 2025 calendar this summer. That will be in print this fall, and we will distribute it before 2025. So we've been doing it for many years. Our very first edition was in 2003. We've gone through many different iterations of this calendar. But one of the things that we're most proud of is that we produce it both in English and Spanish. And not only is it, if they're not carbon copies, they are actually tailored materials. They are culturally tailored for what we know about our population and their psychographics about cooking. So their attitudes, their beliefs, their thoughts, their feelings, all around cooking is how we create our materials. The recipes that are found in them are actually chosen by Oklahoma families. So we go out into the community, we provide pictures and names of the recipes, and we ask recipes, which ones would they really like to see? So that's one of our things we really pride ourselves in as well, as we are taking recipes. And if they are not voted into the calendar, we will put them on our website, but we really allow people to pick what they see in their materials. So they're easy, tasty recipes. So in this calendar, I've got a proof right here, actually. We have 12 months of recipes that are featured. We also have back pages that typically have salt-free seasonings. They have side dishes, things that might pair well with each of the months. And again, these calendars are completely free as long as they are being distributed among our priority population. And you can also order those from our website under the resources tab. We have a form for ordering calendars. So again, if you are looking to get calendars for education, or if you just want one for yourself, we do have those as well. So a lot of times, go ahead. A lot of times we are distributing these to different school districts. We distribute them to SNAP accepting farmers markets because ONIE also in a big way serves our SNAP farmers markets among other incentive programs. And so you might see these out in the community. So another thing that we've created is called what we call our how-to recipe cards, or we call them our produce cards. So we use these, and these were actually a response to, we had several people in the community, and we also had a lot of farmers and producers at our farmers market saying, I grow radishes and I just can't seem to sell them, or I grow, eggplants, always an example I use, because people see them and they maybe don't feel comfortable knowing how to prepare them. They don't know if it's a good one or a bad one. And so rather than trying it out, and having to try something that they don't know if their family will eat and they don't know if they're even going to prepare it well, they typically stick to things they know. So this was our response to a way that might be a nudge to actually help people try something that's healthy and different, but then also providing them a tool that's something that maybe their family might like. So the example you see on there is radishes. We like to show different varieties if those are there. We talk about how to choose, how to store, how to prepare, the growing season as well. We also include a QR code to our website so they can find these materials digitally. And then on the backside, we typically have a easy, healthy recipe that we've made. We use these not only at farmers markets out in the community, we've actually used these at, we have some that are more geared towards the food pantry, so more shelf-stable items. So depending on the outlet that we would use them, they're either more fresh produce or more shelf-stable things. So those are that, and they do come in English and Spanish as well. Okay, so these are also recipe cards. So again, one of the things that we're really proud of at ONIE, we actually have 4 bilingual staff members that are all pretty amazing, and they help us not only, again, translate things, but they help us culturally tailor and are really leading that. So we have a whole brand called Elige Casero, which is our response to Choose Homemade. So, and we also have Proyecto ONIE. So we are able to create bilingual material. So the material you see on the screen, that's this beef pasta. It's a really good recipe, but it's really nice when you're going out into the community to have something that is both English and Spanish. So that way it doesn't matter who you're interacting with. We have a material for everyone. And the other thing that we have on there again is that QR code. So the one on the English side will actually take you to our entire English side of materials. We also have a digital presence that is all in Spanish, and those QR codes will take you there. So it's very easy for people to find. Okay. Another thing that we have, and this has honestly probably been one of our most popular items, is our recipe booklets. And this is just some that you see on the screen. We actually have quite a variety of them. I think we're up to almost 8 now, or we will be very soon. And so these are really nice because they are grouped in a way that are a little bit easier for people to find. So depending on, what your goals are. So if you have kids, maybe you're trying to get your kids in the kitchen, figure out what you can do to have fun, teach them about nutrition, get them to help you, kind of an introduction there. Maybe you're looking to just get dinner on the table quick and you just need it to be tasty. We've got 30 minutes or less or 1-pot recipes. We also have materials. One of my favorites is called A Day on My Plate. So we've heard from a lot of our participants that, what does 2,000 calories look like? Like, I don't really understand what that means conceptually. And so that was our response. So we actually have an entire day of meals that you can see on the cover on the left there. And it actually is a demo that we do in person with real food for them to actually see and interact with. And then we provide those recipes that are in that day of meals for that. So it's not just a picture of food, it's an actual roadmap to show them this is what a day or a sample day might look like. So these are all great recipes. Again, there's a variety of nutrition education inside those booklets. So there might be how to read a nutrition label, salt check, how to watch sodium, or a variety of other things. And those typically all have QR codes or ways to easily get to our digital resources. Okay, so again, I've showed you all these great materials and we have so much more than what I've showed you, but I want to make sure that everybody understands that there are ways to get these. And again, that's one of the things that our funding does, is provide these materials for, again, you, if you're going out into the community, or that they are around as well. So we have a lot of these that are placed throughout the community, throughout the state. But you can actually go on our website and find these and order them. So you can either scan the QR code to order materials, or you can go on our website and they will have everything that is available on there. So we have a lot of them. We also have other ones that I didn't mention, things like how to make your own baby food. We also have one shopping list, 5 recipes, talking about cost and making a grocery list. As we all know, and I'm sure have felt, food costs are rising. And so it gets harder and harder to not only feed your family well and something they like, but within that budget as well. And so that handout really helps talking about meal planning when it comes to, choosing a common protein, but a variety of different meals. And so that way family doesn't get bored. I don't know about you guys, it's really nice to have food, but sometimes you get bored of what you made 4 days ago. So that's it. So that's how you get our materials. I know I've mentioned it several times, but we do have digital resources. One that I have not talked about yet is something that's a program that we have called Tasty Text. And so that is something that we actually twice a week send out healthy living resources. So we might send out a seasonal recipe. We might send out information about a farmer's market or an event we have going on. Then it's completely free. All you have to do is you sign up. I have the QR code. It's really small on the right-hand side. Lindsay, I can send that out to you as well if people would like to sign up for it. And then it also gives the option to opt out if you decide you don't want to. But we do have a following there. And it's just an easy, fun reminder of ways of little healthy nudges that might be something that you might be interested in. Again, we have websites as well. And then we also have a YouTube. That's something I haven't mentioned is we have quick 1-minute cooking videos. So everything that you see in our nutrition calendars comes with a companion 1-minute cooking video. And we do post them on social media. We have a Facebook and an Instagram at Choose Homemade OK and Elige Casero OK on there for all of our resources and our YouTube. So there's a lot of videos, and we'll be posting our 2025 ones this fall. So you'll see 40 new recipes out there. Well, technically 20 new recipes, but in English and Spanish. So that's all I have for you today. So I'm happy to answer questions. We at ONIE, just to give a quick shout out, we have a very diverse, very fun team. So we have a lot of different people within our organization. This is not everybody on here. This is just people that operate on our nutrition team. So we have a very large team in total. Well, it's not very large, but we have a little over 20 of us. But these are all people that touch all of our Choose Homemade items. So yeah, and you're welcome to reach out to me. You could reach out to Lindsay and she can get you to us or Kaylee. Yeah, or you can come see us on the second floor of the College of Public Health. We're typically doing something fun. So how are we on time? Hey, not so bad. Okay.
Great. Yeah. Absolutely. We'll send a follow-up email to attendees with some of this great information. I know Kaylee's been doing a great job sharing links and what have you in the chats throughout this time. So yeah, I think it has been so great to see how you guys have expanded and grown the ONIE project from how it started to where it is now, and all these great resources available. So exciting. And what's even more exciting, I feel like, is that it's here at OU, specifically on the Health Science Center campus. So that is so exciting too, that it's happening right here, part of our OU community. So really appreciate you guys joining and sharing this great information. And I hope everyone here has learned a little bit more. And now we'll be hurrying over to figure out what they're going to eat tonight and put their meal plan together for next week for their families or themselves. I know I now will be trying these breakfast muffins, and hopefully my little guy will also enjoy them as well. So we'll see, because kids can be difficult. Yes,
I'm learning it every day.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, someone chimed in. Love this. My family recently had to change to no or low salt menu items. So the resources and recipes will be a great help. Great information, resources. Thank you so much. So yeah, a lot of great feedback chiming in the chat. So really appreciate you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody attending. Again, if you have questions, thoughts, we like our materials, just want to chat, learn more about ONIE or all of our other brands. Like I had mentioned, we have so many different things that we do and work on different projects. So there's plenty of ways to partner as well. One thing I do want to mention while I have everybody on here too, we also have fellows. And so we have several graduate students that work at ONIE as well as student staff. And so currently we have both public health and nutrition students, but we are always interested and willing to talk to or interview students that may want a public health experience, specifically in public health and food systems and nutrition, physical activity. We have a lot of different opportunities there, and it's always challenging to get the word out to make sure that people know we do have opportunities. So whether that's just in a volunteer capacity, maybe they just want to come shadow for a day, or if they actually want to come and potentially interview for a job if we have a position available, it's a great opportunity to get paid public health work experience, which is pretty cool. So
Absolutely. Great to know. And I hope, those on here will share that and maybe guide some other great students your way as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.